be too bad if old Grissly Palmer lasted till September. Have to change the lettering.
Yep, sure would.
Well, I left plenty of room to put in the day he dies. We won't have to change the month. Doctor promised me. Say, ain't your boss just about a goner, young Tom?
Yeah, he's on his way out and slipping fast. Knows it, too. Sent me to town with a pack of last-minute errands. Hey, John, we should get that thing up to him right away. He wants to take a look at it. Sort of check on the kind of job you're doing.
I know why he wants it sent out. So his lawyer, Ellison Hayes, can seal him up in it as soon as he dies.
Yep, old Grissly don't want people gaping at him. He really wants to rest in peace.
Yeah, an eccentric old codger.
Hey, get that sarcophagus up to him right away, will you? He's lying out there cussing and groaning.
Yeah, I bet he is.
Well, right now I've got to stop by and give all his sorrowing relatives a special invite to come out and say farewell.
Yeah. Well, I'll be seeing you, Tom.
Yeah, I guess you will. Won't be long.
Fred,
What?
do you suppose Grandpa's dead yet?
Maybe so.
How soon after he's dead will the will be read?
Right away, I've told you 100 times.
You better get the money right away, too, because I've already got my reservation for Reno. You're not going to back out on that alimony you promised me, are you? Because if you do...
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Hello, you two young lovebirds.
Oh, hello, Tom.
You wanted up at the big house tonight.
Oh, Grandpa's passed away.
No cheerful. He just wants to kiss you goodbye. Bring your tears.
Wipe that silly smile off your stupid face. And start looking for somebody else to put these wreaths together.
When I finally do see a piece of the old tightwad's money, do you think I'd stay here and play with flowers? Oh, no. The minute this funeral's over, I'll be on my way.
Where to?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Anybody at home?
Hello, young Tom. How is he?
Your father-in-law is sinking fast, Leona. He wants everybody up at the house tonight.
Too bad. Anything I can bring? You think he might like a book? We've some new ones just in.
Old Grissly wouldn't know what to do with the book. He'd probably try to drink it. Just you come and bring your daughter. Goodbye, Leona.
Hi, Tom.
What did he say? Is Grandpa worse?
Sinking fast, he said.
So he ought to. The drunken old miser. All that money and never giving any of us a cent. Not even helping you when Father died.
Now, Maribel, don't distress yourself. We'll soon be out of this town. I called the depot and got the information about the trains.
Oh, I wish we could fly. Wouldn't it be wonderful to fly?
We'd be lucky enough to get the train tickets. Turn a little to the left here, slowly, slowly. Oh, Maribel, just wait till Hollywood sees you in this.
I'll be a great star someday, won't I? And they'll write stories about me.
New York City. Yeah. Miss Reba Terry. Reba. R is in rich, E is in exotic, B is in beautiful, and A as in alluring. Yeah. The message is, get your trousseau ready. We'll be in New York by end of the month. Hold it a minute. I may change that. Is he...
Not yet. I got a big surprise for you.
What?
He wants you and your pa up at the big house tonight. That trousseau may be all out of style by the time she gets to wear it.
Oh. Well, let it stand as it is and sign it, love, Bob.
I get that name right, Bob? Reba. R's in rheumatism. E's in eczema. B's in backache. A's in aspirin. Okay.
Mister, did you see a guy in a dark blue suit and a gray hat get off the train that just pulled out?
Yeah, I did. He asked his way up to old Grissly Palmer's. I thought he was a kid coming to the funeral.
Where is this old Grissly Palmer?
Oh, house up on the side of the mountain. You go up, you get out of town, and then you turn around and you come back, and there's young Tom there. He'll tell you the way. He works there.
Young Tom?
Yeah, we call him Young Tom to tell him apart from his father. He's Old Tom.
What do you call his grandfather?
Welby.
Hey, Junior. Fella in there said you'd show me the way to old Grizzly Palmer's place.
Sure. You a kin coming up to find out how much the old man's leaving you in his will?
What old man?
Jumpin' G. Jehoshaphat. Ain't you never heard of Grizzly Palmer? Why, Dad burn it. He come out here years ago with nothing but his bare hands and a pickaxe. Found the Silver Girl mine. Made $1 million. Started this whole town.
Not this whole big thriving city.
Young feller, Palmer Springs is a mighty fine place. An old Grizzly takes a heap of pride in her. Hey, I'm going out the house right away. You can ride with me.
No, thanks. I got my own car. Anyway, I want to send a wire and get it by deed first. Just show me the way out there.
Well, it's way out that way, beyond the edge of town. First you come to the schoolhouse and then the church. It's all walled in except on the ravine side. It's a great big dump built on top of a mountain. You can't miss it.
Close those blasted windows. You want me to freeze to death?
Now, Grandpa, Dr. Rennie wants you to have some air for a change.
Rennie, what does he know? If he were any kind of a doctor, I wouldn't be kicking the bucket now.
If you just listen to him and stop drinking.
Anytime you want someone else, Grissly, just say so. I'm getting too old to come up here every time you've got a bellyache. I wish you'd get Dr. Chester.
That young pup? You're not very smart, but you've already forgotten more than he ever knew.
Well, I've forgotten plenty up in this backwoods, I'll admit that.
You calling Palmer Springs a backwoods?
No.
You! Close those windows like I told you.
Stop playing with that thing. You're not scaring anybody. We know it isn't loaded.
Yeah? Pull the trigger. You took the bullets out and I put him in again. You hear the shooting?
Shooting? No. Can't hear anything outside that door. Who's doing it?
Katie's trying to kill me off sooner. Look, how is that for style?
I saw that mausoleum down in Fry's. My, big as a house, ain't it?
I want plenty of room to turn over in it.
Yeah, you'll be needing it. When you find out what them relatives of yours are planning to do, you will spin around that thing like a top.
What?
What? They're leaving, that's what.
Leaving Palmer Springs? No!
Yep, as soon as they lay their fingers on your money, they're gone.
Ah, that's what they think. That lawyer is down in my den looking over my papers. Go down and get him right away. Get around.
Now, don't get yourself excited over nothing.
Rennie, come on, get out of here. Get out. I have things to do.
I'm going.
I'm always thirsty. My innards are on fire. Oh. Fine trick to play on me. Palmer Springs was named after me, and I want Palmers living in it after I'm gone.
But it really isn't fair to keep them all here.
I didn't nail them down. They could have left any time they wanted to, like you did.
You told them you'd take them out of your will if they ever left.
That didn't stop you from eloping with that fancy little gambler, did it? Lucky for you, Bentley died and left you a widow, willing to come crawling back to Palmer Springs.
Yes. I'm buried here now for good.
I meant it about cutting you off after you left.
I know. I never expected nor wanted you to change your mind.
Katie, what are you going to do after I'm gone? And you having this house to live in?
Oh. Perhaps I'll help Aunt Leon in her shop. She's the only one who ever offered me any help.
She's a good woman, as women go.
The others are all right in their way, too. Grandpa, don't tie any strings to what you leave them.
I don't want a penny of my money to get out of this town. I found it here, I saved it here, and they're going to spend it here. Nowhere. Come in. Katie, tell young Tom to wait outside. He's going to have a document to witness.
Ellison, try not to let him put in those conditions, will you?
Is he changing his will?
Don't let him. It isn't fair.
Stop your mumbling and let's get to work. Drop a chair.
Did you persuade him not to change it?
He's a hard man to persuade, Katie, and it is his money.
But all their lives he's let them count on it.
Why do you care? They don't worry about your position.
I know how it is to want to get away from here. After all, I've gone and come back. They should be able to go, at least.
I'm afraid I can't talk about it, Katie. You know a lawyer and his ethics. You thought about what you're going to do?
Oh, I'll do something. Don't worry about me, Ellison.
Well, I'm not exactly worried. I'm sorry I'm not a more successful man, though. I could have been if I left Palmer Springs, but I thought the place would grow. I wanted to be an important frog in a small pond and then go into politics. Now I wish I were in a different position. I wanted to ask you for a long time, but with things the way they are, I just don't know.
Ask me what, Ellison?
To marry me, of course. Do you mean to tell me you've never guessed?
How could I? You never once said or looked as though you even thought of me. Oh, if I'd known, I could have told you long ago that I never intend to marry again.
Just because you were unlucky once doesn't...
No, Ellison, please. I like you, you know that. But I'm much happier the way I am.
Happy? You're not even alive. You haven't been since you came back.
I'm not flirting with you, Ellison. I mean it. But I feel so much safer this way. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is.
Oh, hope you'll change your mind.
I don't think so.
Yes? Just a minute. It's the gatekeeper. There's a man to see you. His name is Harry Walsh. He said it's important. Who is he, Katie?
He was a friend of my husband's. Ask him to come up.
Have Mr. Walsh come up.
Louis.
I didn't know if you'd let me in, so I said I was Harry. I've changed a bit, haven't I?
Yes.
A couple of years in jail wasn't much of a beauty treatment. Surprised to see your husband again, Katie? People in the village told me you were a widow.
That's what I told them when I came back.
Couldn't get a divorce, could you?
I never tried. I don't care about a divorce one way or the other. When I left you, Louis, you weren't my husband anymore.
Legally, I'm still your husband and I have a right to share in your worldly goods.
Oh.
Yes, I read in the Denver paper that old Grissly was about dead.
But when I ran away with you, Grandpa cut me out of his will.
Don't try to tell me he didn't change it again when you came back.
Not Grandpa. Any Palmer who leaves Palmer Springs knows what to expect.
The old miser, he can't do that. You're his granddaughter, and you've a right to some of his money.
I don't want it.
Well, I do, and we're going to get it if I have to wring it out of him penny by penny.
Louis, you can't go up there. If you don't get out of here, I'll call the police immediately. Louis!
Hey, you in there?
Yeah? Want to come in?
Not particularly. All I want to know is, did a fellow in a dark blue suit and a gray hat go up to the house?
You mean Harry Walsh?
One name is as good as another. When did he go in?
Just a while ago. You want to see him?
Well,
You want me to call him at the house for you?
Oh, no, thanks. Oh, I'll wait for him here and surprise him. Think he might come out some other gate?
Ain't any. This is the only way in or out. Unless he's an angel and can fly.
He's no angel.
Oh, Ellison, get ready. Send young through town. I think he's terribly hurt.
Katie, he's dead. What happened? Tell me before anyone comes.
He came in here. I tried to stop him. He wanted money.
But who is he?
My husband.
Bentley? But you said a friend.
He said that to get in. He came to get a share of the money when he heard Grandpa was dying. Oh, it was a horrible thing for him to do. I hated him so. I always hated him.
So you shot him?
But I didn't. Grandfather was furious. He lunged out of bed and grabbed for the gun.
He couldn't have. Catherine, your grandfather's dead. You say he did it? Maybe just as well to leave it that way. I suppose we'll have to admit he was your husband. That's bad. It gives you a motive.
I didn't kill him, Ellison.
Well, we must think how it looks. Your grandfather isn't here to tell what happened. You must admit it's an awfully thin story.
But you believe it.
Because I want him. And I want to protect you so everybody will believe it. If he'd only been a stranger who had forced his way in. He said his name was Harry Walsh. Do you think the gatekeeper might have recognized him as your husband?
Arthur never saw Louis before. Hardly anyone in town knew him.
And if we could get him out of here without anyone seeing, we wouldn't have to tell about it at all. But even if I got him past the gate, what would I do with him then?
No, Ellison. No!
I brought the car around to the front.
Ellison, we can't let it go on.
We've got to now, Catherine. We've gone too far to back out. You don't want to be tried for murder, do you?
I don't know. Maybe it'd be better than this. Sitting through the ceremony and looking at that big box. Please, Ellison.
Oh, no. You're stronger than you think you are. When the day is over, you won't have to think about it anymore.
I'll think of it every single day of my life. I've got to tell now before it gets worse.
It's all very well for you, but what about me? You know, I've only tried to help, but they'll call it accessory after the fact or even accomplice.
I didn't think of that.
Well, you'd better think of it from all angles before you start confessing. Confession may be good for the soul, but it'll certainly end us both in a murderous cell.
Oh, why did I let you do it? I was dazed. I wasn't thinking.
Darling, it was the only thing we could do. You haven't done anything really wrong. Grissly killed Louis, and Grissly's dead. Sure, the worst is over now. And in time, we'll both forget all about it. Were you able to burn his hat?
Not yet. Still in the hall closet.
I took all of his identifying papers, just in case.
Kind of funny how they're rushing the old boy into his grave, isn't it? After all, he only died yesterday.
Ellison said Grissly wanted it over with quickly. Sure, it couldn't be too soon to suit me. Will they read the will today, right after the funeral?
I told you yes.
I'm glad they sealed up the coffin, so he wouldn't have to look at his rotten old face.
Maribel, don't say things like that.
Why not? They're true.
Gives your face such an unpleasant expression, you wouldn't want to get wrinkled that way, would you?
I should think Grandpa would like to have been fixed up in lying state for everybody to see.
Ellison said that practically his last wish was that nobody should be allowed to gawk at him in his coffin.
I guess he wants to enjoy it all by himself.
Take it easy, Mrs. Bentley. I didn't know any of his relatives cared that much about the old man.
It isn't that. I mean,
Let me help you to your car.
no. No, thank you.
Well, then, when you're feeling better, may I come up to the house and talk to you? On business. I've been trying to see you, but the gatekeeper wouldn't let me in.
You must be Mr. Simmons.
That's me, Joe Simmons. Just want to ask you a couple of questions.
What about?
Louis Bentley. I'd like to see your husband, Mrs. Bentley.
I'm a widow, Mr. Simmons. My husband is dead.
I, Grissly Morgan Palmer, being of sound mind, do hereby instruct my executors, Ellison Hayes and William Rennie, in the disposal of my worldly goods. First, to my faithful servants, Thomas Paget and his wife, Mattie, an annuity paid to them in monthly installments of $500 a month for as long as either of them shall live. Second and finally, the remainder of all my possessions, property, and personal effects, I bequeath to my granddaughter, Catherine Palmer Bentley, to have and to hold for her lifetime, and at her death to be divided equally among my other heirs, at which time I hope they will all be too old to think of leaving Palmer Springs.
You promised me that money. When we were married, you promised that someday we'd have it.
Shut up.
It's shock. I've been counting on it.
Well, what about me? I'd already counted it.
I hope he's in everlasting burning misery.
Arabelle, don't talk about it now. My dear, I can't honestly say I think it's fair, but I realize it wasn't your fault.
I didn't know he changed it. Aunt Leona, you know I didn't ask him to.
I know you didn't. But my poor baby is certainly disappointed.
He did that yesterday.
Yes.
Couldn't you stop him? You knew I didn't want it.
Catherine, please don't think I asked you to marry me because of the money.
It doesn't matter.
But it does. I care a great deal about you. I think I proved that yesterday.
I know. You were only trying to protect me.
Then I want to go on protecting you. You will, won't you?
Marry you, Ellison?
We almost have to get married to protect each other.
From what?
Well, I think we'd both feel safer if legally we couldn't be forced to testify against each other. Catherine, you haven't answered me.
Yes, I have, Ellison. I've said no. I don't want to marry. Nothing changes that. Nothing will.
Hello, Mrs. Bentley. I'm sorry I have to trouble you at this time.
Mr. Simmons, Mr. Hayes.
Mr. Hayes?
How are you?
I'll call you tonight, Ellison.
Well, don't you want me to wait until you're feeling better?
No, thank you.
Well, goodbye, Catherine.
Bye.
Mr. Simmons?
Goodbye.
I'm sorry, Mr. Simmons, but I told the gatekeeper...
Yes, I know. And he didn't want to let me in. But I have something here that opens all doors to me. I don't like to use it unless it's absolutely necessary. Scares people and spreads talk.
You're a policeman.
In a way. Right now, I'm an investigator. I've been assigned to get to the bottom of a series of shady deals in the Northwest. And the bottom seems to be your husband.
How do you know he's my husband?
Oh, we know a lot of things about him. I followed him from Seattle to San Francisco, to Denver, to right here. And now I want to see him.
But he isn't here now.
Look, Mrs. Bentley, you'll only make it worse by trying to hide him. He went in through the gate, and he hasn't come out. He's in here somewhere. You don't want to get into trouble with the authorities for hiding a crook, do you?
Of course not. But really, you'll have to take my word for it. He isn't here.
Do I have to be disagreeable and search the place?
You can search if you like. You won't find him. Why don't you start with the kitchen? Then you can question Maddie,
Mattie?
my housekeeper.
Aren't you coming?
No. I've already told Maddie what to say to you.
And what have you there, Mrs. Bentley? Yes, that's the hat I followed from Seattle. Now, where have you hidden the man who wore it?
You didn't touch a bite. Not even my good muffins.
I enjoyed the coffee. Thank you, Maddie. Has he been here long?
Since 5 o'clock this morning. You'd think he'd need some sleep after searching the house till way past midnight.
I wish he'd go away. I wish I could go away.
Well, why don't you?
Well,
I mean, why don't you go for a ride? Some fresh air would do you good. You could go up to the cabin. Look how nicely young Tom shined your boots for you. Of course, it does look like rain.
Maddie, I have a feeling that even being caught in a shower would do me a lot of good right now.
Shut up, Horsey.
Why, Mr. Simmons, haven't you sense enough to come in out of the rain? No, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Bentley's not here. You can stay under one condition. That you don't ask me any more questions.
No questions.
You better take off your clothes and let me dry them. Oh, you can use this. You'd better give me the rest of them. Unless you want to catch pneumonia.
I should think you'd be glad if I did catch pneumonia.
Why?
Well, if I were confined to a nice, hard hospital bed, naturally I wouldn't be able to pester you anymore.
I'm not that vindictive.
How'd you ever come to marry such a heel as Bentley?
I guess my only excuse is that I was very young. Barely 18. Furious because Grandpa wouldn't let me go away to school.
What about your parents?
Well, Dad was always pretty much in awe of Grandpa. Mother been dead for years. Aunt Leona was the only one I was able to confide in, but even she couldn't persuade Grandpa to let me go.
You must have been a lonely kid.
I didn't mind being lonely. But I was so terribly worried that nothing would ever happen. Nothing interesting, I mean. I was afraid I'd go on forever, just eating and sleeping.
Then Bentley came along.
And a kind of life I never knew existed. Sometimes people like you followed us. Nobody here ever knew that.
Was that why you said you were a widow?
I meant to tell the truth when I came home. But when I saw my relatives just waiting to gloat and say I told you so, I was ashamed to admit I made a mistake. So I lied. And I'm not sorry. I got away with it. Up to now.
I'm not interested in that part of it. All I want is Bentley.
No questions. You promised.
Look, I'm not doing this for my own pleasure. I don't enjoy tracking down criminals when it involves people like you. But I've got enough to take you to my boss right now. And believe me, he'd ask you some questions.
I couldn't tell any more than what I've admitted to you. He was here, but he's gone.
Bentley hasn't left this town. As a matter of fact, he still hasn't gone through those big iron gates.
But he didn't go out that way.
The gatekeeper said that's the only way. I looked around to make sure.
There's a place even the gatekeeper doesn't know about. It's a big tree that fell across a ravine and made a kind of bridge. It's narrow and dangerous, but you can cross it and go out to the cemetery grounds. I used to cross on it years ago when I was forbidden to meet Louis. I used it the night we eloped.
You want me to believe that Bentley left that way?
Yes. He's far away now. He's probably in Chicago by this time. And if you hurry, maybe you can find him there.
Maybe. But first, I'd like to see the tree that fell across the ravine.
I'll show it to you just as soon as the rain stops.
To sell it. I wish you'd have told me about this sooner.
I did tell you he was gone. You wouldn't believe me.
Well, I didn't have any reason to believe you until now. Yes, I can see where it hasn't been long since the bridge was used.
Used? Who could... I thought the heavy rains would have washed away his traces.
Rain doesn't wash away traces like that. See where the vines have been cut? The branches have been hacked off so somebody could crawl across without being scratched to pieces. I hope you'll never play poker for very high stakes. You're having a very good face for it. Bentley never went this way because you're amazed that it's been used.
But I told you,
You've told me a lot of things. Most of them lies. Now look at me and tell me the truth. Where is he?
He's gone, I tell you. Oh, why don't you go, too? You'll never find him here, and you'll only make trouble for me.
You don't need any help when it comes to making trouble for yourself. I take a tip from a guy who's seen a lot of people in trouble, Mrs. Bentley. They never seem to be able to get away. There's always someone who can run just a little faster than they can. So stop running. Turn around and face it.
You're right. I have been lying. But now I'm going to ask our chief of police to come to the house this afternoon. And I want you there, too. I want to tell you both the truth.
Catherine, are you crazy?
I was crazy when I made the mistake of trying to cover it up.
If you tell, what about me?
Don't worry, Ellison. I intend to tell just one more lie. You had nothing to do with it.
You'll be tried for murder.
The people who know me won't believe it. I convinced you I didn't do it. I can certainly convince them, too.
When did you ever convince me?
You think I killed him? Yet you asked me to marry you. Could it be the money?
You ought to be grateful I'm willing to marry you, so I can't be forced to testify that I practically saw you kill Bentley.
To the legal mind, Ellison. Isn't that blackmail?
To the murderer, Catherine, blackmailers can sometimes be very helpful. Don't go to the police. You'll be awfully sorry if you do.
I'm sorry I didn't do it immediately. But now I'll go to Mr. Adams as quickly as I can. And even if they all think I did it, I'll be free of you at least.
Catherine, listen to reason.
Ellison! Come on over right away. It's the most exciting thing. Dr. Rennie's there and Police Chief Adams.
Adams what?
Mr. Adams got an anonymous letter, and guess what it said?
Now, stop being so kittenish and tell me.
Well, it's said that none of us knew it, but there had just been a murder committed in Palmer Springs.
Nonsense.
No, really. It said old Grissly didn't die of just drinking too much. He was poisoned.
Grissly poisoned?
Yes. Isn't it exciting? The letter said Catherine did it because she knew he was going to change the will. Well, it's reasonable, isn't it? And Ellison, if we can prove it's true, then the money will all come to the rest of us, won't it?
That's right. If Catherine's guilt can be proved, you'll be a very wealthy young lady.
And I can go to Hollywood after all, as I planned.
I hope not, because then I'll have to go, too.
You would?
Well, I couldn't let you out of my sight, could I? Just when you're beginning to grow up into such a beautiful girl.
Oh, Ellison.
Hello, Mr. Adams. Maribel's been telling me some very funny things.
Well, it's a funny business, all right. I hate anonymous letters, and I'm afraid this one has stirred up a beehive.
If you ask me, I think it's only a malicious relative who's found out he can't break the will and is trying to get even with Catherine.
That might be it. Probably is.
I think you ought to disregard the note entirely.
Oh, I'm afraid we can't do that. It wouldn't be fair to Mrs. Bentley to spread gossip like this.
If I've been wrong about Grissly's death, I want to be proved wrong.
Do you think you could have been mistaken?
Anybody can be mistaken. Grissly's been killing himself for years. I might have looked only for what I expected. I'm not the doctor I used to be. I told Grissly to get someone else. I wish he had.
This is funny. It was written on Catherine's typewriter. I know the type and the way it jumps a space after the letter F.
Her own typewriter, eh? That is strange.
Someone who had the run of the house must have written this, because Catherine keeps her typewriter put away in her desk.
Young Tom or Mattie?
No, I don't think they'd have anything selfish to gain by getting rid of Catherine.
That's right. They get their money anyway.
This doesn't look so good for Mrs. Bentley.
But why should Catherine do such a thing? She didn't even know he changed his will.
Is that what she told you? Why she...
She what? Come on. This is no time for evasions.
Well, Grissly told me that she'd been after him for months to change the will, and he finally promised he would.
And the minute he did, she killed him. Maribel, please. I can't believe that Catherine could do such a thing.
I can't either. Although it did seem curious the way she insisted on such a hurried funeral and the coffin being sealed right away.
You said that was Grissly's request.
Catherine asked me to say it. I thought it was funny, but I didn't pay much attention to it at the time.
Well, still waters run deep. And don't you forget it.
No, wait a minute. We're jumping to conclusions awfully fast. As Leona says, this may be just a piece of jealousy. And we mustn't let it push Mrs. Bentley into a lot of gossip and trouble. I'm going to try to trace this note. Oh, yes, Val. What is it?
Catherine Bentley just stopped off at the station. She asked if you could come out to her house right away. She'd like to see you.
Well, I'd like to see Catherine Bentley.
You mean Grandpa was poisoned?
No, we're not saying that. It's probably just some envious kin started a rumor.
Who says I poisoned my grandfather?
We don't know who, but, well, the whole flock of Palmers was pretty mad at you because they didn't get any of the money.
What's he supposed to have been poisoned with?
The anonymous note doesn't say, but it just says she knew something about it.
That's a wicked lie. Why would I do a thing like that?
The note says for the money.
But I didn't even know Grandpa changed his will. Ask Ellison. He knows I didn't.
The note said it was kind of strange you were in such a rush to get him buried without being seen.
That had nothing to do with Grandpa. Why, it's the worst kind of slander.
That's just what we're going to prove, Catherine. So don't you worry. It's a shame to disturb poor old Grissly in his last resting place. But the sooner we get the results of the post-mortem, the quicker we can stop the talk.
You mean you have to?
Open the grave? Yes.
The poor child. I did hope she'd sleep the night through. Can't you let her alone? Anyway, till tomorrow. It's downright cruel, hounding her till she faints, pouncing on her the minute she wakes up.
Dr. Rennie said she'd be all right when she woke up.
With 3 of those pills in her, she'd be too lightheaded to talk to you. Better let her sleep.
I'm awake, Mattie.
How do you feel, dear?
I'll be all right. I'm surprised at myself for fainting. I've never done that before in my life. Mattie, I think Mr. Simmons would like to talk to me alone. Would you leave us, please?
Alone? Up here?
We'll observe the house rules. You can leave the door open. hate to keep hammering at you like this, but you promised me the truth about Bentley.
Are they really going to open the grave?
Yes, Adams went to get the court order.
How long will that take?
Look, Mrs. Bentley, I'm not interested in your grandfather's grave, and neither are the people I work for. We want to know where your husband is now.
That's where he is. In my grandfather's grave. I don't blame you for staring at me like that. It was horrible of me. I don't know how I could have done it. I've thought of it every single minute since then. The two of them, hating each other as they did, yet buried together. I deserve anything that happens to me.
Aside from it being a horrible thing to do, it's very stupid. Bentley came pushing his way in. All you had to do is tell the jury you killed him in self-defense. After they got a look at his record, they'd have pinned a medal on you.
I didn't kill him. He did come pushing his way into my grandfather's room. They quarreled and Grandpa shot him before I could take the gun away.
And why did you try to hide him?
Because he told me I'd be arrested for murder, that nobody believed me.
Who told you? Who told you? Your grandfather?
Yes. Before he died, he told me what I should do. Well, Mr. Simmons, you're right, weren't you? I was running away from trouble. Only I turned around to face it just a little too late.
You better get a lawyer.
I've already had a lawyer. Thank you.
Well, it's none of my business. I was sent here to locate Bentley, and I've done that now. That is, I think I have.
It's the truth. I wish it weren't.
I'll have to check on it, of course. I haven't any jurisdiction over this thing, or maybe I'd have had you arrested by now. Still, I know what a heel Bentley was, so I can't blame you much there. If you had only faced it then.
But I didn't.
Is there any truth in the talk about your grandfather being poisoned?
Certainly not. You don't think that I
You're
would...
the only one who knows that. I guess my advice would be, if you haven't any more on your conscience than Bentley, then stay and face it. But if there's more that I don't know about, I guess you couldn't make it worse even if you ran for it. That's all I got to say, and I shouldn't have said that. Well, goodbye, Mrs. Bentley. I probably won't be seeing you anymore. I wish I could help you.
Thank you.
Well, goodbye. Good luck.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Ellison, this is Catherine. I thought I should warn you. They're going to open the grave. But no matter what happens, I want you to know I'm not going to involve you. You can count on that.
I don't think I can count on anything you promised now. You're just as apt to break down and confess my part in it, too.
No, Ellison, I won't.
The only thing I can see is to get there before they do and get rid of the evidence.
No, that's horrible. It'll only make things worse.
I wish I'd never tried to help you. But now that I'm in it, there's only one thing I can do. I'm leaving here right now. So you'd better crawl across that bridge you told me about and give me a hand. And hurry before we're both hung.
Please, don't even try to do that. You'll be caught. I promise I won't mention you, and anyway, it's too late. Ellison, did you hear me? You can't do it because I've already told. Answer me. I know you're still there, Ellison. I can hear you breathing. I can hear the sound of your watch ticking. Ellison. Ellison. operator. 791.
Going to be a nasty job pulling that heavy box up.
Yeah.
Hey, see what we're doing down here. I think Ernie's broke through the top. Give us a little more light.
Holy suffering catfish. There's 2 of them in that thing. I'm getting out of here.
I'm going to quit. That's what I'm going to do. Why, the first-year intern knows arsenic poison when he sees it. But me, I just kept on thinking old Grissly was drinking himself to death.
Well, now, don't feel bad. He was drinking himself to death.
Yeah, the arsenic just helped him get it over with in a hurry. And I kept telling him to quit whining about it, too. I hated the long trip up there. I told him to get another doctor. Well, he finally had to.
What's done is done, Will. You've done your best, and now it's up to me to do mine.
Are you going to arrest Mrs. Bentley?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I never would have dreamed Catherine could do a thing like that. Known her all my life. Would have banked on her never to hurt a fly, and then here she goes and kills the both of them. How can you figure women out?
You can't. Well, Mr. Simmons, thanks for the help. I suppose now that you've located your man, you'll be leaving us.
Yeah, nothing to hang around for now. Are you going to arrest Mrs. Bentley tonight?
Well, I'll get the warrant and pick her up first thing in the morning. I'm not going to enjoy it either.
Wait, I'm going with you. Goodbye, Mr. Simmons.
Goodbye, Doctor. Goodbye, Mr. Adams.
Hold your horses. I'm coming. What do you want around here at this time of night?
Now, what do you think I want? I want you to open the gates and hurry up. I suppose Miss Bentley's asleep.
That's something I wouldn't know.
Oh, what I mean is she hasn't gone out, has she?
At this hour? No, she came in early this afternoon. I ain't seen her since.
Mrs. Bentley.
your hands through the loop. You got it?
Yes.
Are you sure you can hold on?
I'll try. Hurry!
Okay now. Go ahead and bawl if you want to.
If you hadn't come. What if you hadn't come? Oh, it's so awful.
I told you that tree thing wasn't safe. You shouldn't have tried to cross that way.
But I didn't try. I was pushed. Someone followed me all the way from the house. Then right here I saw a shadow and I was pushed.
Who'd want to do that?
I don't know.
Did anyone know you were running away?
Running away? From what?
Catherine, they opened the grave tonight.
I'm glad they did. Before anyone else could get there.
And they held a post-mortem.
That's over with, too.
Yes. Adams will be out here the first thing in the morning with a warrant for your arrest. Catherine, I don't know why, but I can't stand to see you get caught. I want to help you.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm ashamed to admit it, but I do care. I do care what happens to a woman who'd do the things you've done. Bentley, I could understand and forget. But your grandfather, that's something else. Poison an old guy who trusted you.
Poison? You mean he was?
You don't have to act for me.
Stop it. I won't be accused of such a thing. I'm not a poisoner. I'm not a murderer. I've only tried to hide something I didn't do.
Then why were you running away?
But I wasn't. Why should I? There's always someone who can run just a little faster than you can. You're the one who told me that. Oh, Joe, can't you understand that somebody's killed Grandfather? Now whoever it was wants to kill me, too?
Catherine, you really didn't, did you?
No, Joe.
I don't know why, but all of a sudden I feel like Christmas morning.
I feel scared. You don't know what it's like to know there's somebody trying to murder you.
Well, don't you worry about that. It's my business to catch murderers. And this is one I'm going to enjoy catching.
If she has any broken bones, we'd better get her into the Silver City Hospital.
Well, I don't think we'll have to do that. She didn't break any bones.
She must have internal injuries then if she's been unconscious all this time. Catherine, you said she was unconscious.
Well, so she was for a while.
What is this? You're just trying to delay the arrest, aren't you?
Well, yes. But we have another reason. We want to catch the murderer in a trap. Catherine is the bait.
Dr. Rennie, you must know I wouldn't do such a thing. Joe believes me, and he's a perfect stranger to me. At least he was.
You take my word for it as a policeman. The murderer has done his best to point to Catherine. And last night he tried to make her look like a guilty suicide.
That was true about pushing you into the ravine?
Yes.
I did have a hard time believing it was you. It didn't seem right.
Well, that's why we had to get you up here. You've got to help us.
How?
Call Adams on this phone. Tell him Catherine won't be able to talk until tomorrow morning. Emphasize the fact that she'll be alone almost all of the time and unconscious. Then in a couple of hours, everybody in town will know it.
The murderer will know it, too.
Well, that's what we want. He'll know that he only has one night in which to finish the job. And tonight's the night.
me, Catherine?
No, I didn't make a sound.
I must be getting the creeps.
I don't think I can last much longer. What time is it?
Almost 11. Well, I better get back in the closet.
Joe, I'd feel much better if you were right here in the room. Why couldn't you hide behind that chair over there?
Okay. It'll make you feel any better. I'm sorry. Does it hurt much?
It aches a little.
Those cuts were pretty deep. I don't know how you were able to hang on with your hand like that.
I did that at the very last minute on your broken glasses.
My broken glasses?
Yes, at the edge of the ravine. They must have fallen out of your pocket and you stepped on them when you were pulling me up. Haven't you missed them?
But I don't wear glasses.
Not to read with?
No.
But I saw them there. Glass and pieces of broken frame.
The murderer's glasses. Ellison wears glasses, doesn't he?
Yes, to read with.
They were probably in his coat pocket and could have fallen out. He knew you'd be down there. It all fits in.
Ellison. But why?
First, he thought he'd get you to marry him, and then he'd have all the money. Then he talked Grissly into making you the heiress. And when you wouldn't marry him, and were going to tell the police about the grave, he figured he had to get rid of you. If I could only find those pieces of lens and the frame and take them to the oculist, he could prove they were Ellison's.
Of course he could. There's only one oculist in town. That's Ted Leslie. He lives right over his office.
Wait a minute. I can't leave you alone that long. Ellison may be too close. Wait a minute. We'll find out. What's his phone number?
791.
Operator.
791.
Hello?
Mr. Hayes? This is Mr. Simmons. I'd like to come in and talk to you for a minute. A couple of questions I want to ask.
I'm sorry. I was just going out.
I'd appreciate it if you'd wait. It won't take me long.
All right, I'll wait 10 minutes.
Thanks. I'll be right there. You just relax. I'll be back before you know it. I'll send Mattie up to stay with you.
All right, Joe.
Mattie! Mattie!
Mattie went into town, Mr. Simmons. She called up and asked me to sit with Catherine.
Oh, that's fine. You go up to her, but don't leave her, will you?
No, of course not. I was hoping she might come too sometime during the night and I could give her a little hot soup to strengthen her.
Oh, I think she'll come too if you tell her to. Tell her Joe said to sit up and drink her soup.
But Dr. Rennie said she might not be conscious till the morning.
You just tell her what I said.
Catherine, Joe told me to tell you to sit up and drink your soup. You're not
Unconscious? No, but I'm awfully hungry.
I don't understand.
Don't even try, Aunt Leona. It's pretty complicated. Just believe that I've done nothing wrong and that we're baiting a trap for a murderer.
They said when you woke up, you'd tell who it was that pushed you. Is that the trap?
Yes, it was a bluff. I didn't know who it was then.
And you do now?
Mm-hmm. Joe's gone in to verify it. Aunt Leona, you're going to be stunned when you find out who it is.
Am I?
What's your rush? Is Miss Bentley worse?
No, she'll be all right.
You didn't leave her alone, did you? I let Mattie and young Tom through here a while ago.
No, she's not alone. Her Aunt Leona's with her.
When did Leona Palmer come through here? I must be getting old. I don't remember seeing her at all.
so good at me, Leona. I'm so sleepy.
That's fine. You go to sleep, and I'll stay with you.
It looks so different, Aunt Leona. Your eyes look so enormous. Oh, Grandma. What big eyes you have.
That's because I'm wearing my sewing glasses. They have such thick lenses. I lost my walking glasses last night. I can't imagine where.
Lost her glasses. Too bad. Lots of glasses all lost. I cut my hand on somebody's glasses.
You cut your hand on somebody's glasses? Last night?
Aunt Leona, would you ask Mattie to come up here a moment?
Mattie and young Tom have gone into town on an errand. Mr. Simmons has gone, too. You and I are alone.
I think I'll just call Dr. Rennie. I'm beginning to ache. Please.
Please, what?
Please go away.
No, Catherine. I can't do that.
I think I could sleep if you'd just leave me alone.
You'll sleep, Catherine. You're going to sleep a long, long time. I wanted you to go to sleep quietly, enjoying the nice soup your aunt brought you, never guessing. But I can see that you know. I thought I was being so careful. I took my glasses off so they wouldn't get broken in the event of a struggle. I never realized that I dropped them at the ravine.
You pushed me.
I didn't want to do it. I had to. I really didn't mind poisoning Grissly very much. He was dying anyway. I hurried him so that Maribel could have the money while she was young and beautiful. Oh, she's so lovely. She deserves everything in life. I wanted to see her out of this dusty little town with the whole world giving her everything she should have. His money could have done all that.
And then he heard we'd be free. He changed his will, leaving everything to you. You who didn't want it or need it. Didn't even want to leave this town.
You never thought mousy little Aunt Leona could make a plan like that, did you? You never remembered how you confided in me about the tree over the ravine and how you used to sneak out and meet Louis. I used it night after night after night. I roamed the house and did as I liked. I put the poison in his drink. I came back to see how close to death he was. I was here when Louis came. I saw Grissly shoot Louis. I saw Grissly die, and I was glad. Then Ellison read the will. And I knew that before Maribel could be free, I'd have to get rid of you. Ellison helped me to make you look guilty. Ellison's a traitor. He was to you. He wanted you to hang yourself by going to the cemetery that night. You'd have been caught, but the men he knew were already there. I knew all about that, too. I was the one you heard on the extension. And I followed you. I didn't like to do it, Catherine. I was sorry to do it. I'm sorry to do this now. But I have to. For Maribel. I don't want to hurt you, Catherine. I wouldn't like to hurt you. I'll take some of the sleeping tablets, too. When he comes back, he'll find me sleeping as though I were drugged. And you'll be sleeping as though you were dead.
How is she?
I don't know how many grains she had, but it doesn't look too bad.
Sleeping tablet, she said. What do you do for that?
Black coffee and keep her on her feet. I'll get the coffee. Leona's gone.
Let her go. Adams is out there. All I care about is Catherine. 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 Everything is all right now. You're safe. The trap worked. Not quite as we planned it, but it worked.
She's going toward the ravine.
But she can't get out, can she?
Well, Simmons says there's a bridge somewhere. I wish I knew just where. With our weight, we'd better go around and cut her off the cemetery.
Come back, Leona.
Devil.
She was like a devil, wasn't she? Made my blood run cold to listen to her.
Lucky we were able to listen.
Yes, if it hadn't been for the gateman, I'd still be chasing Ellison Hayes.
He'll be taken care of. Good riddance, too. I always wanted to get another lawyer. I'll get some more coffee.
Wake up, sleepyhead. It'll be a wonderful day tomorrow.